And greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Want to remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe button for me if you would. There's a PayPal link down there for anybody who wants to share some love. Always appreciate it, every little bit. And of course, the StreamYard link is down there for anybody that wants to join the panel. The last video I just got done doing a little while ago, as it relates to the Real Party and Interest Kentucky Law Review, we had a term come up that I was not familiar with, so we looked it up real quick. And the term is Champerty. So we're going to take a look at the term Champerty real quick. And let me blow this up a little so we can see it a little better. And what we've got is Champerty. This is from dictionaries, right in regular Chrome, Google, dictionary, definitions from Oxford Languages. Champerty as a noun relates to law. An agreement in which a person with no previous interest in a lawsuit finances it with a view to sharing the disputed property if the suit succeeds. What Champerty means under L.I.I.W.E.C.S., and I've got that window pulled up and we'll read that. But this one here is the one I wanted to point out real quick first. What is the difference between barratry and Champerty? First, a definition of terms. Maintenance is the practice of helping another to maintain a suit, generally by providing financial assistance. Champerty is the practice of maintaining a suit in return for a financial interest in its outcome. So one can maintain a suit but needs financial assistance. Another is in the practice of maintaining a suit for someone in return for a financial interest in its outcome. Barratry is the continuing practice of maintenance and Champerty. So the attorney is in the practice of maintaining a suit and making a representation for you for a financial interest in its outcome. That's Champerty. Barratry is the continuing practice of maintenance or Champerty. Okay, everybody understand that, I hope. So let's go on to the next one, the L.I.I.W.E.C.S. Champerty refers to a relationship that arises when third parties unrelated to a litigation provide material support to litigants in exchange for consideration contingent on the outcome of the litigation. Contingent on the outcome of the litigation. Again, it's a litigation. It's a filing of a suit, making an accusation. This is what they do. This is not what I'm proposing you do. I'm proposing you just correct the record based on the litigations already had and the inconsistencies, errors, omissions, mistakes, accidents, whatnot, that need to be fulfilled, or as it may be, proven impossible and therefore need a reissue or a redemption or both. Often that relationship between the third party and the litigant is known as Champerty. Who is the litigant? Is that the one making the representation? The most basic Champerty scheme occurs when a third party provides material support to a party to a lawsuit on the condition that the litigant shares with the supporter any of the proceeds won from the litigation. Now, if you're familiar with salvage laws, remember I talked about resurrection and merger in a new name. That's the salvation. And their salvage laws operate the same way, where somebody makes a claim, a third party that has no interest in it prior, makes a claim on a wreckage. Says, hey, I want to make a claim on that and salvage it. Because it's got a lien on it, it's got a bond on it until it's the last plank, the bottom board. So even if you just find the bottom board, you can salvage it and put an investment in to create the money to rebuild that vessel and rechristen it. It's a resurrection and a merger into a new name. Same thing. And it's got to be blessed, christened. The third party supporter must have no bona fide interest in the case. The sole benefit is pecuniary. In the United States, the legality of Champerty varies state to state. 16 permit it explicitly by statute, and 12 permit it implicitly. Consequently, Champerty is a subset of a broader concept known as maintenance. When you get that lease agreement, what do? That's a contract for maintenance. You're going to maintain the property. Maintenance occurs when a stranger provides something of value to a litigant, the landlord. You're the renter, the tenant. And you're going to provide something of value to the landlord, the litigant, to support or promote the litigation. Promote. The important distinction between maintenance and Champerty is that in maintenance, the maintainer is not rewarded for supporting the litigant. Instead, maintenance is helping the litigant prosecute their suit. Champerty is maintaining a suit in return for a financial interest in the outcome. Put simply, in Champerty, the supporter's reward is completely contingent on the outcome of the case. So, I'm going to support your case. All of them, all 94 of them. I'm going to support them by financing them. That means settle them, because they're not settled yet. They're still in dispute. And I get to get a what? What was it? An agreement in which a person with no previous interest in a lawsuit finances it with a view to sharing the disputed property if the suit succeeds. Now, take this out, and it reads, an agreement in which a person with previous interest in a lawsuit finances it with a view to sharing the disputed property if the suit succeeds. Same thing. Real party in interest. He had a previous interest because of the name. If it weren't for him, the estate created in that name would have never come about. The early common law expressed hostility towards Champerty. Indeed, the Western legal tradition largely prohibited third-party involvement in litigation since Roman law. Third-party litigation. The famed legal thinker Blackstone described Champerty as an offense against public justice, as it keeps alive strife and contention and perverts the remedial process of the law into an engine of oppression. I'm going to read that again. That was from Blackstone. Described Champerty as an offense against public justice, as it keeps alive strife and contention and perverts the remedial process of the law into an engine of oppression. And that remedial process is the process for gaining remedy. That's why it's remedial. It's a halfway point. This is why I say, if you truly want to balance something, the best perspective of balance is at the center of the balance beam with one foot on each side of the other, not so far extended that you have one person on one seat of the teeter-totter and another person on the other seat of the teeter-totter. By the early 20th century, Champerty was broadly prohibited. In the matter of the estate of Gilman, Judge Cardozo said the maintenance for spite or envy or the promise of hope or gain or promise or hope of gain is forbidden, whereas maintenance inspired by charity or benevolence is permitted. Today, maintenance in the case of the promise of gain is simply called Champerty. Gilman addressed a particular Champertist arrangement, maintenance, by a litigant's own lawyer that may have been especially repulsive to Judge Cardozo. Nonetheless, such arrangements are common today. They are called contingency fees. You ever go to that attorney and he wants you to give him an upfront money? That's not a contingency fee. You have to specifically call it a contingency fee based on the fact that if you win this case, you will get a certain percentage of the proceeds, which are universally accepted in the United States. Indeed, the history of contingency fee arrangements captures the gradual liberalizing of Champerty laws in the United States. So what is a contingency fee, real quick? Is a form of payment to a lawyer for their legal services, in contrast to a fixed hourly fee. In a contingent fee arrangement, lawyers receive a percentage of the monetary amount that their client receives when they win or settle the case. See, it's not about winning or losing, it's about settling. And you're the one with the power to settle. You're the one with the power to finance it. And you finance it by putting the supplementary facts that bring a greater truth that says it's supposed to be based on credit. And I'm the benefactor to which all credit comes from in that system. And that's because I'm the one that gives to the beneficiary, no one else. And that's proven by the name once again. And the case. A case is a civil or criminal proceeding at law or in equity. It can also refer to an action, suit, or controversy, depending on the jurisdiction and the nature of the dispute. Dispute is both a verb and a noun. A dispute is a disagreement, argument, or controversy, often one that gives rise to a legal proceeding, such as arbitration, mediation, or lawsuit. Arbitration, mediation, or lawsuit. If you want remedial action, then you need mediation. The terms match up. The opposing parties are said to be adverse to one another. To dispute is the corresponding verb. It means to participate in a dispute or to make a particular argument in a dispute. And again, my particular argument is that I'm neither a resident nor a United States citizen, but in fact that was a gift granted to me for my beneficial use. And as benefactor, giving the data elements to that constructive trust through constructive contracts and not knowing full well nor intending to place liabilities on the record, wasn't qualified to. They were mistakes. My apologies. I repent. I won't do them again. Now that I better understand my true and proper capacity as the beneficiary is deemed to be the true owner in equity, I take upon the ownership to settle the matters. Settle the matters? What do you mean? Well, that means finance. Goodness gracious, didn't I already finance them? What term of finance are they determining? The next one this is Making Champerty Work, an Invitation to State Action by Paul Bond. Interesting, Paul Bond. Generically, the doctrine of Champerty prohibits the sale of the fruit of legal judgment or settlement. The sale of the fruit of legal judgment or settlement. in advance of such judgment or settlement to an otherwise disinterested party. So what is the legal judgment? If the legal judgment is to settle a debt with a third-party debt collector, they're coming again as the settler, the real party in interest. When they don't have that said interest, they cannot settle it. They can only get a judgment. That is a false judgment. 12b-6, failure to bring a claim upon which relief can be granted. You cannot settle it. The relief is through settlement, not the passing on of a debt, buck for a buck. Pass the buck. No, you put an end to things. Finance it. You settle it to put it to an end. Contemporary scholarship tends to assert that the doctrine is vestigial and on the wane. In other words, going out. Not of much importance anymore. In pursuant to efficiency and justice in litigation funding, many propose an outright repudiation of the prohibition against Champerty. The result of such an outright repudiation would be a free market in future legal judgments. A free market. Isn't that what everybody's screaming for? Free market, free market, free market. So I hope everybody paid attention today. That brings us to the end of this short stream tonight as it relates to Champerty and what it actually means. Maybe you get a little better understanding of what the lawyers do when it comes to barratry and what you're actually doing when you sign those maintenance lease programs and then pay rent. You pay them to maintain a suit. You invest in them and don't get any return. So think about this stuff. And remember, folks, I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. And that's say I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't love me. I don't care if you don't respect me. None of it. That's all on you. So may God bless you and have a good night. Bye now.